Welcome to the Work Well, Live Well podcast. I'm your host, Leanne. Drawing on the foundations of wellbeing science, positive psychology and neuroscience, I share tools, tips and strategies for people to intelligently manage their wellbeing so they can flourish into working well and living well. In this episode, I'm talking to Marcia Ryan about high-quality connections. Marcia is the founder of Wellbeing Works and has extensive experience delivering development solutions to organisational leaders and teams. She has broad organisational learning and development experience and designs and delivers collaboration, wellbeing and resiliency workshops that provide participants with practical strategies they can implement immediately at work. Marcia holds a Master of Applied Positive Psychology and specialises in the application of positive psychology in organisations to improve team collaboration and work relationships that are supportive, enabling and energising. Her specialty is helping others build high-quality connections, to build trust, respectfully engage and enable success in others that leads to higher team performance and a positive workplace culture. Marcia has recently produced the High Quality Connection Cards, a tool to help amplify the way we connect. So let's get started. Marcia, thanks so much for joining me today. I'd love to hear from you. What are high quality connections?
Okay, so high quality connections are those micro moments that we have in our daily interactions that light us up. And they're the key words. The idea that when we connect with someone and have an interaction, we actually can have a sense of energy from that interaction. A high quality connection is a brief interaction. It's different to a long-term relationship. High quality connections are brief. That's the key thing to get around your head, first of all. And they're those micro moments that build connection, build communication, and they strengthen us. And so they're life-giving, energising interactions. And that's really important because when they light us up and revitalise us, they're like little vitamin boosts that put the energy back into us to keep going with what we need to do. It helps us move forward, helps us take action, helps us progress and succeed. They're also good for our well-being because when we connect with people and we walk away from an interaction that lights us up, we come away feeling revitalised, energised, we feel good.
I can remember the conversations where I've, sat speaking to someone and just feeling alive from the conversation or inspired. It's a great feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think I came to them from the opposite direction. I came from them thinking about those depleting interactions I've had in the workplace. And they're the ones that we remember. So you think about the time, it might be recently or it might be one from a long time ago that you still recall that you've walked away from that interaction and you were left feeling like the energy is blown out of you. And I often say sometimes, and I can hear it even in conversations that people have on virtual calls, you can hear the sigh, you can hear this energy being left out of their body. It's just like a If you ever hear that at the end of a conversation that you've just had with someone, you know that you have not left them energised. You have left them depleted. And so I came to high quality connections thinking about a really toxic interaction with someone who didn't trust what I was doing in my workplace. I felt quite disrespected. And there was just a real loss of trust. And also that person was just not giving any help or assistance and was actually blocking myself and my team to actually perform the things that we need to do. So I came away from that. And of course, back then I didn't know that was a low quality connection, but it sure was. And I just felt, I don't ever want to work with someone like that. Why would I turn up to work tomorrow and think it's going to be great tomorrow to work with someone like that? Yeah. And so that was my first thought of, I wonder where I can work where it's not like that, where there are people experiencing the opposite, what I would call high quality connections. So where people work together collaboratively, they trust each other, they support each other, they give help, they enjoy each other, feel a bit energised and go home and come back the next day. Wow, that's not the place I want to work. And that was my aha moment, thinking, well, what is that? How do you get that? And how do I find a leader in a team that does that? And could you even teach someone to do that and encourage that to happen? Now, that was probably 10 years before I discovered positive psychology. When I came into positive organisational scholarship study, and I studied the work of Jane Dutton and colleagues on what are high quality connections, there was a light bulb moment of, that's it. That's that thing I wanted to know how to do and work with a team that were high quality connectors, because it leads to high performance and it makes us feel good. So that was a real great, I think I have the answer. I think that's what I want to do.
There's 4 pathways to high quality connections. Can you explain what those pathways are?
Yes, I can. And that's based on the research of high quality connections. And so Jane Dutton has developed in her research 4 pathways. She explains these 4 pathways to build high quality connections and create them with intention. And so those 4 pathways is to build trust. And I don't think I know any company I've ever worked with that doesn't have one of their key values as trust. And so it resonates very well with people that to build a good connection or interaction with another person, a good relationship, is to build trust. While we all have a definition of what trust is, we know it's difficult to build and easy to lose. But there's lots of strategies that you can do to demonstrate that you are trustworthy and you will trust the other person that you're interacting with. It's just one of the simple everyday actions of showing trust to your colleagues.
Yeah.
You get asked to do something by a given time, do it, or get back to that person as to why you haven't got there yet and what your progress is. The second pathway is respectful engagement. And what Jane and the researchers mean by that is when you engage with someone, you show respect for them. And that is really easy to do, but it's also easy to be distracted and forget to do it. And so all these strategies require a lot of effort and ongoing practice. And you don't always get it right. So that respectful engagement is about being there, listening effectively. Don't hog the floor and talk all the time. Don't talk at people. We're usually so good at talking because that's what we're asked to do, to give advice, to speak your views, to contribute. Yet a lot of the time, a high quality connection is about listening effectively.
Yeah. When we feel heard, we feel valued.
Yeah, exactly. So the third pathway is task enabling. It's all about giving help and assisting and advocating and pushing people out forward and supporting them to achieve things. So it's really, really simple strategies, and they make us feel good when we do them too. So it's lots of help giving, lots of advocating for the other person, even connecting people with other people in your network. So being a networker and a connector of others. For example, Leanne, I know someone who is researching exactly the same thing that you're doing at the moment. You might want to speak to them. Let me do a warm introduction to you. Okay, there's an example of task enabling. I'm enabling you to move forward and keep going with the task that you're trying to achieve.
You feel validated in that moment.
And so you're starting to see all that psychological safety that lines up so nicely with high quality connections is the importance of being seen, of being valued, of being heard, of being safe to make a suggestion, to feel safe in the workplace, to say, hang on, is that right? Why do we do it that way? To feel safe, take all those risks. Or the favourite one of mine is, because task enabling is, we're really good at that. Hey, let me give you help. What we're not so good is asking for help. To hold up your piece of paper and your piece of work early on and say, this is what I've got so far. I'm not really happy with it, but can you give me some feedback before I spend any more time on it? What do you think? A lot of us feel that is much more difficult to ask for help. Because you're taking the risk of saying, I don't know all the answers. It's not in a good place yet. It's not finished, but I'm willing to share it with you because I appreciate and know that you'll give me some support and advice and feedback.
If I'm not feeling safe to do that, I'm not going to be opening up. You're not going to get the best out of me. Whereas if I'm feeling safe to be vulnerable and ask you those questions and get that feedback, be ready to hear that feedback. It's a two-way interaction. I have to be able to trust you to be vulnerable. I guess you have to trust me to be honest.
One of the qualities of a high quality connection is that it has high emotional carrying capacity. And what that means is that if something goes wrong, or there's a difficult conversation to be had, or the last time we caught up, I came away feeling disrespected, a high quality connection has the ability to withstand that tension. So it's a bit like a rubber band, it can stretch, and then we can say, okay, are we going to repair and spring back and overcome that tension and that challenge and get through that difficult conversation and move on? Or if it was a low quality connection, then it probably wouldn't bend and wouldn't be so flexible, and it would break. And I'd say, forget about it. I don't think it's worth it. Just let it go.
Yeah.
So someone in a high quality connection, which is really important when you're in a team, because not all things go well, and not all interactions are positive. So do you have the ability to overcome those challenges and hurdles? And that's one of the benefits of having high quality connections, is that you are more likely to overcome challenges and hurdles and tension in teams and move forward and still have a respectful, trusting relationship.
Yeah. If you understand that about interacting with people, you can really change the outcome of some situations, can't you?
You can.
So now the fourth pathway, Marcia.
Yes, the fourth one, which sort of came in a bit later. So if anyone has read Jane Dutton's book, Energize Your Workplace, she talks about the three, and the fourth one was added a bit later. And so the fourth way to build high quality connections is to engage in ways that are playful. So socially connect rather than just talk about work. So we come together and we've got a meeting and we just kick into the agenda and off we go. If we are able to connect socially and find ways that we have things in common, or things that we might have of interest that we'd like to share with each other, if we would like to go have a coffee every now and again together, any way that we can socially connect and play, that will also enhance and strengthen the quality of our interaction, because I'll get to know you better. You'll get to know me. You'll understand why maybe on Monday morning that work wasn't done at 9 a.m, because you may realise that I've got a number of kids to get out the door, or something's happened in my life on the weekend that could conflict with that. It just helps strengthen that interaction and that connection, because also when we play together, it gives us positive emotions. So we get energised again by positive interactions. They can be really simple. It could be like just asking someone in the morning before you go and sit at your desk, just checking in, how are you, what happened last night, what do you think about what's happening on the weekend, because I know you're a big football supporter. So, so if you know what's going on, how did, have you completed that 1,000 piece jigsaw puzzle you were doing, where you're up to with that, show me a photo of your new dog.
Yeah.
All those mini micro interactions show that you respect the other person for a person being a human being. And it's not just about the work you do together.
Yeah. As we're sharing those things and sharing those experiences together, we're building our relationships, aren't we? We're really changing a lot of things.
That's right. And, with high quality connections, because they're micro moves and their interactions, you can build a high quality connection rapidly. It can be a 30-second interaction, and all of those little mini high quality connections rapidly build a strong relationship.
Yes.
So we don't need to be in the workplace and spend hours and hours together and years to build strong working relationships. They can be built one interaction at a time.
I think about a relationship that I have at work that started with just a little wave across the hall. Now we stop and have conversations. But it all started with a little wave.
It does. It's the social play things that you try and get creative to do to keep, when you're that first wave or that first meeting, when you've been disconnected for so long, for 8 months, it's really hard to say, well, how do I keep the connection alive? How do I, keep it alive when we don't get to see each other and play together on a day-to-day basis. So I don't get to walk into my desk and greet people. I don't have those little, hallway conversations. So it's we've got to come up with new ways of staying connected.
I agree with that. I think about, I'm here in Adelaide and you're there in Melbourne and still very much going through the lockdown experience. But I remember going back to the workplace and couldn't wait to get there because I love the social aspect of work. But while we were in lockdown, I felt very different in my interactions. And so it took a bit of work to keep that conversation going through Zoom meetings or Teams meetings, however, people connect. It takes a bit of work, doesn't it?
Yes, and I think the face-to-face interactions, because you get more visual cues, more feedback. You can, at least having your video on when you are on a virtual conversation does help, because you can see the person's reaction to things that you say. You can see that they're thinking, so you don't talk over the top of them. There's so many little cues that you miss out when it's via Zoom versus face-to-face,
yes,
or a virtual, that it makes it even harder to connect. So I think you have to have a heightened awareness of how do I connect when it's a virtual situation. And then I'm starting to hear when people are coming back into workplaces and, that joy of reconnecting, it's almost a bit like we've become a bit clunky with how we connect with people, and what's the new way, and have I forgotten all my skills of interacting with people? It's almost like we have to relearn and reacquaint ourselves. I don't think we can assume that we're just going to go back to workplaces, jump in and start working productively. I think there's going to be a transition time of reconnecting.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the day when that happens. It's going to be so exciting. Don't assume that things will just kick off from where we left them when we all left the office last time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it always takes work, doesn't it?
Yeah, and takes focus. So, and that's one of the keys of respectful engagement, that pathway. It's the focus and the intention, even before you start the conversation, is, okay, have I put away all my distractions? Am I ready to be with this person and give them my focus and attention?
Yeah.
Am I coming in thinking about the positive outcomes that we'll do together versus some other negative?
I recall a conversation once with someone and they were looking around the room, looking at their watch and feeling like I wasn't being heard. And all of a sudden I could feel myself coming back into me and thinking, oh, do you even hear me? Are you even hearing me? And I wound that conversation up because I didn't feel like I was being heard. And I think many people would identify with that too. I think we've all had a conversation in that way, and it can be depleting and often not intentionally by the other person who's giving you those signals.
Correct, and that's that emotional intelligence, or that other awareness of your impact on others, just even awareness of how you're projecting, and the sense of, are you really there?
Yes.
For the other person or not?
Yeah.
Sometimes you also know that some people prefer to interact in certain ways. That please just pick up the phone and talk to me. Please don't send me a big long email, because even an email can be of a high quality or a low quality interaction.
Right.
Okay, so it's not just a conversation. The research shows that it could be any type of interaction. So even when you send an email to someone, it's the tone, it's this, do you show respect for that person when you send that email?
Yeah.
Are you enabling that person to succeed? So,
Very important. How do high quality connections benefit our well-being personally or professionally?
Look, some of the key things is, I would say, not just high quality connections research, but lots of wellbeing frameworks, lots of wellbeing research. There is a key element that impacts our wellbeing, and that is our social relationships and our relationships with other people. So if other people matter to our wellbeing, then other people having high quality connections with other people will amplify our wellbeing. So we all need people to support us in the workplace. We all need people to feel that we belong in the workplace, and we need to feel that sense of contributing and being valued in the workplace. And all of that enhances our personal well-being and our professional well-being. So professional well-being, what I mean by that is, if I'm going to feel effective and feel like I'm making a meaningful contribution, then I need to hear that back from people and feel supported that what I'm doing is contributing to something better than what I'm just doing by myself. It's contributing to the work that my group does. It's contributing to the service that we provide to our customers. So I think having high quality connections with the people in your team and with your customers and with the people you work with, those social supportive connections help you do your job well. So they make you feel good at work, but they also help you perform well. So I think they're important for both personal well-being and professional effectiveness and performance in the workplace. So social connections matter. I think the antidote to that is, if you don't have that sense of belonging, then you can feel quite lonely at work. And even though you can be surrounded by a lot of people in the workplace, there's still the opportunity to feel like you don't belong, that you feel isolated, that you feel lonely. And that's a big risk factor. So mitigate that by giving people the opportunity to build high quality connections and have that support structure around them in the workplace.
Yeah, that is something that happens a lot in workplaces. Many people will be working in an open space or office and working away, and you'll have some that are very well connected and have fun, and that other person who might appear to be that quiet person in the corner might be longing for a conversation too.
And again, it's those micro moves of connection that you might just invite them to join in the morning tea cake for whoever's birthday it is that they don't even know, come along with me. Or it could be, include them in a conversation. Many ways, I think if you observe really good connectors, you see what the micro moves that they make, you think like, okay, some people are natural at this. They are very good at it, and you could just watch them in action and observe 1,000 micro moves that they make to make people feel included. For the rest of us, we need sort of practical skills to practice and keep working at building up those skills.
Yeah. Marcia, at a time when connection is so very important, how can we be better connectors?
I think the first thing is to be aware and have a desire that you want to be, that you want to put more energy and effort into that interaction so that both you and the other person comes away feeling more energised, more elevated rather than depleted. So the first thing is intention and attention, being ready.
You have developed a tool for building high quality connections. Could you tell us what these are and how we can use them to amplify the way we connect?
Yeah, so I'm a learning specialist who designs a lot of educational materials and tools to make it easy for people to learn. And so, it sort of makes sense that when I have researched high quality connections as part of my studies as an applier of positive psychology and positive organisational scholarship, then I should make it easy for people to learn about those 4 pathways to build high quality connections in the workplace. And so that's what Mary Ceccanese and I have done, is we've taken the work of Jane Dutton, those 4 pathways, and created cards that are easy for a leader, easy for a team to use, both for personal development or for enhancing and amplifying the quality of how teams connect. And so we've created a toolkit that you can spark conversations or use practically as a prompter to work on building a connection. So for example, if you want to build trust, then there's some trust cards in there with lots of strategies and ideas of how do I make micro moves of trust and build trust within the connections that I have with people at work. So they're a deck of about 44 cards. They have the 4 pathways, the 4 suits. So trust, respectful engagement, enabling people to succeed, and building social play. And we've stuck in a 5th pathway, toxicity tamers, because we want to also include that, not every connection I have is a positive one. So how do I deal with those life depleting interactions that I have? I can't avoid them. They're there. what am I going to do about it? And so there's also some strategies of dealing with toxicity in the workplace as well.
Yeah. When I saw that, I thought how powerful that will be for some people who are perhaps trying to bring out the best in their teams and may come across some of these challenges in their environment. These are so wonderful in making it easy for us.
They are easy, and that was the idea, is that they wouldn't be full of research. If you want to dive deeper, there are great books and there's great research to dive deeper, but they really are designed for people who are time poor and sort of say, okay, I've got a number of problems. My people are disengaged and they're not collaborating well. They're very competitive. What can I do? We've just got a new team. We've been in isolation. We're just coming back and having to reconnect. What can we do? We're going through a big change and half of us are going to be made redundant and the rest of us have to continue on. What can we do?
Yeah.
All these problems, all these challenges that are faced in businesses, the question is, what can we do? And the answer is, well, this is one way that is an evidence-based practice that you can implement easily into your day-to-day ways of working. It doesn't take a lot of time and effort, but it does take practice. So can you embed it into what you normally do? So when you have a stand-up meeting in the morning, can you embed some of these practices into your meetings? Can you embed it into the one-on-one conversations you have? We've done all the work for you and put the evidence-based practices into something that's very tangible and ready to use. And the great idea is that each card's got about 4 dot points, 4 ideas of how to put it into practice. And usually when you start using them with a team or with a group, you sort of say, well, they're the starters. There's 4 ideas, but I'm sure in your context, in your situation, and your preferred way of working, you've got another 4 ways that you could do this better. That's what's really powerful, is that you give the people the idea, the strategy, and then they contextualize it to best fit their need.
Yeah.
And then they own it. Then they say, okay, this is the way we build trust. This is what we do. This is how we socially play. We go for a walk around the car park every morning at 9:30. We ring a bell and we come back and we go, woohoo. So people understand, well, the concept is to socially play together, and this is the way that we apply it in our work.
Oh, I love it, Marcia, and congratulations on such a wonderful tool. Besides your own marvellous tool, do you have a book or TED Talk or words of wisdom that you would like to recommend for the listeners?
I've been thinking about this, and I like anything that's tangible, practical, easy to follow, but evidence-based practices that I can implement at work. And it gives me lots of choice and range. So I have a full toolkit of options, which makes me much more agile and adaptable. So for whatever situation is, I pull out a different strategy, a different tool each time. A book that offers that in a very tangible way, it's 10 Keys to Happiness by Vanessa King. It talks about 10 things that are evidence-based strategies and practices to boost happiness and enhance your well-being.
Oh.
And of course, one of those is building positive relationships and social connections. So of course, high quality connections fits under that, but there's lots of strategies to have in your toolkit. And the great thing about Vanessa's book is it gives a little bit of research and theory. What is it? What's the idea? Why does it work? What are the benefits of it? And here's how to do it. Love it. And what's come out of that too is, you might have heard of Action for Happiness and their work, and they do the calendars each month. Do you know about the Action for Happiness calendars?
Yes.
Okay, so again, off that, I think they're from those concepts of those 10 keys to happiness. So again, just turning that book into something more tangible is to have a monthly calendar.
Yeah.
And I find the team that I'm working with at the moment, we love the calendar, because it just seems to resonate really well with the team to say, let's pick a theme. And so we're learning a lot about wellbeing strategies all along the way, and we have a different theme each month, and we do something that resonates well with us as a team. So they're great conversation starters, and the book itself has a bit more detail than the calendars.
I do love to share the calendar as well. I think it provides a great nudge in the direction of the theme of each month. So
it does. And again, one simple thing to do each day, which is great. The words of wisdom. If I can just do one, Shane Lopez, who wrote Making Hope Happen, he's a hope researcher. I always think of his words of wisdom. He said that tomorrow can be better than today, and we have the ability to make it so.
Yeah.
So I love that when he talks about having hope, that tomorrow can be better than today, and we all have the ability to make it happen. I think that's a really nice way to be hopeful.
How are you managing your wellbeing?
That's a very good question. Getting out in nature, even though I've only been getting out in nature in 5 kilometres for about the last few months, but I'm very fortunate that I have some lovely nature within my 5 kilometre lockdown zone. And I just find getting out into nature and exercising and getting fresh air and appreciating the beauty and wonder of the world just gives me that bit of connectedness to something greater than myself. I feel like I'm in this with lots of other people. Yeah. So it reconnects me that way. And I'm very fortunate that I'm not living alone. And so usually my husband accompanies me on those walks, and we've been doing a lot of cooking with one child that's still at home. So a lot of family time, doing things that we don't normally do. I've got 2 other children that don't live at home, and I haven't seen them for a long time. So we've been very creative and have virtual family trivia nights. And each week someone hosts the trivia, and then it got quite competitive, and so we were then having a theme, and so it was a cooking theme, so everyone had to cook and present it and get voted on that night. So we've done lots of things that we'd never normally do, but it's all about staying connected in new and different ways. So that's how I've looked after my well-being. But also just that I can't sit at a computer all day and work and work and work. I just really need to transition from my work desk, and 3 steps away is my normal life. So I've got to create new habits to almost do what people call a fake commute. And so close the office door and actually walk outside and go for a 10-minute walk and walk back in the house, and I'm home. Yeah. I'll come home from work rather than just close the door and step out into the hallway and I'm actually at home. So some sort of transition of moving from work to home.
It sounds like a helpful strategy.
And I think I'm just trying all new strategies because as time has gone on, they lose their effect, and you've got to get creative with trying new things.
I wish you well with the COVID conditions that you are experiencing at the moment. As we come to the end of this interview, if people want to find out more about your cards or what you offer, where can they go to find out more?
You can connect with me and purchase the High Quality Connection cards from wellbeingworks.net.au. You can find me on LinkedIn, and probably one of the other places you might want to play with us is the High Quality Connections Community of Practice, which is a Facebook group. So it's called HQCCOP, which is short for High Quality Connection Community of Practice. It's a Facebook group, and we have over 500 members in there, and we just love sharing practical ways to create high quality connections at work, at home and beyond.
As a member of that group, I can say that it is full of wonderful resources that we can draw on together to build our high quality connections. So thank you so much for joining me today, Marcia. It's been wonderful talking to you.
You're welcome, Leanne. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, and always a pleasure to tell anyone about high quality connections and just how wonderful they are.
So wonderful to connect. Thank you. And thank you for joining me. To find out more about Marcia, you'll find her on LinkedIn or visit her website at www.wellbeingworks.net.au. There you'll find details about how to purchase her high quality connection cards, or join the High Quality Connection Community of Practice on Facebook. Just search for HQCCOP. If you found this podcast of benefit, please share it with someone you think will benefit too. I love to receive your feedback and would be grateful if you could rate this podcast on iTunes. I invite you to connect with me through LinkedIn and Facebook. Thanks again for joining me. Until next time, wishing you well-being. Bye for now.